Hi, my name is Subi, and I make sugar cookies. I'm a baker. Not only any sugar cookies, we make gluten-free sugar cookies. Um, yeah, my daughter or my husband and I started a gluten-free sugar company um, about almost 4 years ago, and that was based off of me having a gluten intolerance myself and my son. And I wasn't about to start making, this is the sugar cookie dough, by the way, the sugar cookie dough. But like I was saying, I was not going to start making two separate meals for everybody. So I just said, I just need to make it one set of everything good enough so that everybody can eat it. And that's how we've been doing it here in our home. So just kind of making all the sweets, all the treats, all the breads, and everything for my whole family. No divisions, no separations, because that's a lot. I have a big family, by the way. I have, well, at the time we started, we were a family of 7 of us. And then I got pregnant with twins that turned our 7 into a family of 9. And then I just had our 8th child. Yeah, eighth child. I just had our 8th child. I'm gonna sit down and do this. This is gonna be a wow. On in September. So what a blessing. I know we're a big family. We love it. So yeah, had our 8th child, but that's not the reason why I wanted to get on here. Um, I wanted to talk about the Hebrew Israelites, not even the Hebrew Israelites. I wanted to talk about me and how I found out I was a Hebrew Israelite. Um, it started with my dad. He always raised us by saying, be proud of being Black. Be proud. Not only Black, you're African. Be proud of that, which is true. He would always say, all Black people come from Africa. And not only that, my mom was actually born in Uganda. So he would say, be proud of your heritage. Don't be ashamed. Even though, all the jokes back in the days, you African booty scratcher, ha ha ha. So he would always say, be proud of who you are. Be proud. Don't ever be ashamed. Anyways, my dad, just a brief history on him, he always embraced the African culture, whether it be the drums. He loved to drum and learn different cultures and music of the African heritage. And so he was way ahead of his time. He would wear dreadlocks, like, I mean, thick dreadlocks. He would listen to, of course, Jamaican music, Bob Marley and the Wailers, all these different artists back in the days. Everything was natural. He was a vegetarian. And he wasn't trying to follow a movement. He just would kind of say, this is what the Most High told me, as he was walking closer with the Lord. And of course, me as a young girl, I'm rolling my eyes like, okay, there's always something Daddy's going to tell us is going to be hard to swallow. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so we just kind of, went with it. And so one day, because my dad would also take trips to Africa, like at least once every 4 or 5 years, because he wanted us all to move there. He would say, when I was a little girl, we're going to move to Africa. And of course, a war broke out. We didn't go. And then, of course, also when I was a little kid, him and my mom, they divorced, but they were still together um, in regards to for the family. So he would always push this agenda, not even agenda. He would always push this idea of we want to live in Africa, get out of here. This isn't our land, and and such. Well, anyways, long story short, my dad took a trip to Africa one of his second to last trips. Got really sick, and this is what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And this is what he would do a lot. Well, anyways, he would get sick here and there, catch malaria. And one time he caught malaria, and this wasn't anything, he would always tell us not to worry, don't worry about it. Well, anyways, he didn't say anything. Someone called one of his friends and said he looks really, really bad. So he's coming home on the flight. So my mom met him at the airport. And so much so, she said he did. He looked like he lost weight, super skinny. Takes him to the VA hospital because my dad used to be in the military. Takes him to the VA hospital. They thought it was Ebola because Ebola was hot going on at the time. Thought it was Ebola. They quarantined him. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They quarantined him because they were thinking, Ebola. So, and him coming from Africa, not knowing what he had. So, anyways, it wasn't Ebola. It was a bad infection. He had a bladder infection that went sepsis, and so they were treating him for that. And while he was there, he was barely eating. And so I was, he would tell me, baby, I got a strange diet. They're not going to give me the food that I want, that my body needs to heal. So I would be bringing him in some lentils and things like that he would eat. And my mom was all the way, in San Bernardino. We're here in California, by the way. Anyways, so I get there with my husband, and he's like, baby, we Hebrew Israelites. And I'm like, who? Actually, he didn't say we're Hebrew Israelites. He said, baby, we are a tribe of Judah. And I said, who? You mean Judah like in the Bible? And he was like, yeah, that's who we are. That's our people. And I said, huh? You mean the people, the children of Israel people? The people that we've studied? Them? And he's like, yep, that's who we are. And that was a hard pill for me to swallow. So much so I laughed it off. I laughed and I was like, oh, here we go again, Daddy. One of those crazy things. But thank goodness my husband was there, because we both kind of, snickered, but then he listened more so than me. I snickered and then kind of, rolled my eyes, where my husband listened and he started to, research. He didn't really disclose too much to me, but he researched it and started to dig and look into the Hebrew Israelites and why were people saying we're the Hebrew Israelites or certain people, and what is this based on? And he went for facts, and a lot of the things a lot of what people were saying were, look at Deuteronomy 27 and 29, where it talks about a people. This is in the Bible, where it talks about a people. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 8. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's correct. So it talks about a people, and he did the research, and then we started to watch IUIC, and I'm like, why are they yelling at and not yelling? Why are they like, at first it was like, dang, they're on their scriptures, and then how they're like, yelling it, or, speaking with authority. I don't want to say yelling it, because that's how we speak. Everybody that's African American, we have this passion how we speak. Other people call it yelling, but we're speaking with authority and passion, how we do things. I don't know. Let me sit down so you can see my head. So it's not you like you see in my arms. So, so we're just rolling. Either way, scoop the powdered or scooping the cookie dough, and then we're just rolling it, not in powdered sugar, just some cane sugar. Not gonna get my hands in there because I don't want my hands getting all gritty. So I'm just spacing them, and then I'm gonna press these down. So yeah, back to the story. So, um, so they, so like we're people. Just I mean, think about it. Us African Americans, or we speak or we sing with passion. You don't say, "Oh, that's singing so loud." I mean, yeah, I'll say that sometimes. Like, dang, why you guys sing so loud? But it's beautiful. It's that passion and authority. Just the same as we speak. So again, I'm snickering at these people saying, "Oh," I start calling them the purple people. I was bagging. And my husband was like, "Don't say that. Don't say that, purple people, because they're speaking the word. You might not like how it sounds, but that's how the Lord gave them the word to say. Sometimes it's not going to be always smooth sailing. It's going to be how the Lord says it. And that's how they're saying it. And that's our people." And so I was like, okay, let me see what he's talking about. So I read the Deuteronomy 27:29, and I started to understand that who, out of all the ethnicities upon the earth, who has this became a byword? That's not speaking of the Jewish people. A byword, or chains on their neck, come into a country that they don't know. That's us. Here's my sugar cookies. I'll be right back. I gotta put these in the oven. So I'm gonna pause it and then I'm gonna come back. Okay. So I put those in the oven. I'm gonna do 2 more. Hey Siri, set a timer for 12 minutes. Um, so yeah. So I started to, like I said, doing the Deuteronomy, sit down, doing looking into the book of Deuteronomy and doing my own research. And that was the thing. I said, I'm going to look it up on my own. So my husband's telling me, he's also agreeing with my dad. And he's like, yeah, you know what? We are the children of Israel. My husband also was African American, by the way. So yeah, so he's like, we are. That's who we are. And I'm like, dang. So, and I'm not, it's to me, I'm like, well, there's no special, is there a golden pass or something that we get to have to say, oh, Lord, look, we're the children of Israel. Does that mean we get to, I don't know, standing in the front of the line on the way to heaven? Nah, I don't. I was like, I don't see any special treatment. If anything, as we're reading the scriptures in the Old and New Testaments, it was the people of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob that when they obeyed, they were blessed. But the stories, majority of the stories, is them not obeying, being disobedient, and how the Lord had to deal with them. So we're always, or I felt like I was always reading the stories of disobedient. This is what they did. This is what they did. And I'm like, those people, like you telling me they couldn't learn, those people, they didn't know, like not to, complain, like you just made it out of Egypt. And it was always this, far removed way of thinking. But now I started to say, it was my ancestors. This is what happened. This is what they did. What can I learn from this? So the story started to become more real to me, more than just a story. became my family history. So now what that means for me today is, let me be obedient to what the Lord is telling me, because I'm always trying to figure out what's the shortcut, what is the Lord teaching me, what's the end game, what's trying to be conveyed, what's the message. And the message is this: do what the Lord tells you to do. And I'm like, well, how do I know what the Lord is telling me to do? Like this morning, normally I sleep in. Like I said, I have 8 kids. My house is quiet right now, but when everybody is up, they're up. I got 3 littles and it's noisy. So yes, normally I do get up to bake in the morning while it's quiet. But the Lord told me this morning. He's like, you know how you drink water, and I love water. I'm always drinking water. There's my water bottle. I don't know if you can see it over there. I always have my water near me. I'm always drinking it. And he's like, you know how you drink water and you are, you love it. So eventually what happens after you drink the water? You want to go pee, right? So if you want to go pee, that's releasing. So I put the word in you, which is all of these things in regards to who you are and all the other knowledges and things that the Lord has given me. He's like, that's the water. So you having to go pee is sharing it. Water doesn't just sit in you because you're like, this is just for me. It tastes so good. I don't want to say water tastes good, but I like it because it hydrates me. That's my go-to drink. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll drink some like juices and whatnot, but my go-to is water. But what he was conveying to me this morning was, you eventually have to go pee. You're not going to hold your pee in, are you? And I was like, no, I'm going to get up and go to the bathroom. I might hold it as long as I can if I have to do something, but for the most part, it's going to be normal for me to go to the bathroom. And he's like, that's how my word is. You have it in you, so go pee, let it out. And I was like, oh, okay. When I go to the playground or when I talk to my friends, and he was like, that's good and all. But what about when you are doing your cookies? You're shooting your videos about your cookies, gluten-free cookies, and selling them. But what about me? And I said, that's a good point, because I love a conversation about the Lord. I do. My husband and I's conversation is 90% of the time about the Lord. 90. I love it. It's like peeing. Whatever we find out, we share. And we're like, oh yeah, look at this, look at that. Oh yeah. And then that's our conversation. I love it. Or anybody that knows me, any of my friends, that's my conversations that I love, is about the Lord. I can talk and talk about him and what, things that he's revealed to me for hours. So he said, go to the bathroom. That's what I want you to do this morning, is go to the bathroom. So, so it's a weird idea now that I say it out loud, but this is what it is: releasing, pouring out what has been poured into me, his word and his light in me. So I'm pouring out to you guys. So today we're talking about me being a Hebrew Israelite. And it's, I don't say, I'll say, I don't want to say I don't say, but I don't really, that's not my introduction when I speak to people. It depends who they are. And I'm always like reserved as to who I share that with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 more. And I shouldn't be, because that's who I am. So this is my journey. I don't know everything. My husband knows a lot, but we're learning. We're learning as we're walking, and we're sharing as we're going. So I'm hoping this video can help out somebody, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's out there like me or my family that's like just coming, like just waking up, just coming into the knowledge of truth and understanding. And that was step one for me, is to understand, hey, we're tribe of Judah. And on a side note, this lady, I was at my daughter's volleyball game. I'm not gonna say her name. Um, I'm reading the scriptures and I'm like, okay, all right, we're Judah. I understand that. This is what, my husband and I were getting like about 5, 7 years ago. But just recently, I'm at my daughter's volleyball game. So in my head, I'm thinking like, all right, you know, it's people with melanin, people that look like me, right? Tribe of Israel. And this wonderful lady, just met her. I was pregnant at the time. This was like maybe a few months ago. And tall like me, like beautiful lady, Caucasian though. And we're talking about the Lord and we're going back and forth. And she's like, because I'm tribe of Judah. And I looked at her and I said, she was speaking with such fire and conviction. And I said, that's my other alarm. I said, you are Judah. The boldness this wonderful lady had and the fire that was lit within her, you could not shut her down. You could just see that. When I hear Judah, I'm thinking lion, very bold with their voice. And I'm like, you are. So I was like, oh my goodness. And that was okay. Sorry. My phone was losing its memory. So I had to adjust that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Anyways, going back to the story. So this lady didn't look like me, straight Caucasian, right? Judah. And I'm like just the strongest, most bold testimony. And she's like, just bold. And just in how she was talking about the Lord, which is such fire, and had her children doing the same, and they weren't ashamed whatsoever. And she's like, I'm tribe of Judah, my family, because the Lord told me as well. And I'm like, I was in agreement. I'm like, that's right. That's right. So who's to say that tribe of Judah is only people with my melanin? That's not accurate. No, it is not. I don't. Now, my husband would say, well, when you say something, you got to back it up with some scriptures. I'm sure a scripture will come to mind shortly. If not today, maybe another day. But that's what I feel and think. Um, yeah. So, in a nutshell, that's my story for today. Um, I am a daughter of the Most High, Yah, which is our Heavenly Father's name. And so that's it. I am a daughter of the Most High. I am from the tribe of Judah. I have been awakened, and it's such a wonderful thing when the Lord brings you back to who you are. Because in my family, being raised in America, besides my mom's side, knowing that we're Ugandan, being in America and just told you're a adjective, which is black, or you're African American, or you're colored, or whatever um, names that they give us. But to actually say, this is your people, this is who you are the people of the book. You've been lost for this long, but now you've come to understand who you are. So that's where I'm at in life, doing some digging and understanding who I am and what the Lord has called me to do. And that's just to share. So I hope other people out there that can resonate to what I'm saying and to appreciate it, then enjoy these videos, and I will be doing this. And that's my goal, is to continue to do these videos and spread the word, be the light. Shalom. Take care. Bye.